Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Monday, June 27th, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. Now, if you're looking for my MLB best bets, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. I'm running a daily $15 MLB best bet, so you can check it out at Pick Dawgz Premium. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Monday, June 27th. For our first game of the night, we see the Oakland A's travel to the Bronx to take on the New York Yankees. Paul Blackburn and Jordan Montgomery are your starters. Now, you just can't keep a Yankee down these days, as Aaron Judge earned his second walk-off hit of the series against the Astros on Sunday afternoon, a 3-run homer this time in the bottom of the 10th to earn a 6-3 win for the Yankees. So they won on the money line, covered the run line, and the overcashed at the original total of 8.5. So a big play there on just one swing of the bat by Aaron Judge. Now, going into this series, we're going to expect to see the Yankees as big-time favorites in each of these games, as the Oakland A's have one of the worst records in the American League, the Yankees the best record, and that's no different in this spot, as the Yankees are minus 290 on the money line here. To me, even though I do think the Yankees are going to win this game, there is just absolutely no value, obviously, on the money line, but even on the run line, where you have to lay runs and odds with a Yankees team that offensively, let's admit, they haven't been the strongest. Even though they put up 6 runs in that walk-off win on Sunday, they were no hit through the first 6 innings against Jose Urquidy of all pitchers. So I am a little bit concerned with that offense. Paul Blackburn has kept the ball on the ground for the most part this year, only allowing 5 home runs in 75 2/3 innings. Now, while I do think he's going to regress past his 2.97 ERA, I think he's good enough here to keep the Yankees' bats to a minimum. On the other side, the Oakland A's have one of the worst lineups in baseball. Jordan Montgomery has been a very consistent pitcher, and I do think this is going to be a low-scoring game overall. So I'm going to take the under in the Oakland A's New York Yankees. In our next game, we see the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the Washington Nationals. Now, we don't have an official starter listed for the Pirates quite yet, so we don't see an official line-out. Now, I have heard rumors that Jared Eichhoff may make his second start of the season. He didn't have a very good first start of his season debut for the Pirates, and I wouldn't be surprised if Pittsburgh decides to go somewhere else, but Eric Fedde should be on the mound for the Nationals. I'm going to trust the Nationals a little bit more here. I do think Fedde is the better option than what Pittsburgh's going to go with, and I also like the Nationals' offense as of late. Pittsburgh Pirates offense, one of the weaker ones in the National League. Even though they have a few exciting young bats like O'Neill Cruz, still think this is one of the weaker offenses in baseball. And with the Nationals, overall, they're not the strongest lineup, but when you've got a 3-4-5 of Soto, Cruz, and Bell, you can do some damage. We saw on Sunday they scored 6+. I think they score enough here to back up Fedde and get the win, but certainly not my favorite game on the board. I'll lean towards the Nationals on the money line. In our next matchup, we see the Cleveland Guardians hosting the Minnesota Twins. Now we're going to see the same pitching matchup we just saw a few days ago with Sonny Gray and Tristan McKenzie on the mound. Now, the Twins were able to get to Tristan McKenzie for 6 earned runs and 3 home runs in that one, 9 base hits as well. And Byron Buxton wasn't even in the lineup in that game. Carlos Correa hit 2 homers off McKenzie, and I like the Twins to get to McKenzie yet again in this spot. I've mentioned that McKenzie is very susceptible to the home run ball. He's given up at least 2 home runs in 4 of his last 5 starts. The walks are also an issue for him at times recently, not really the whole season, but as of late. And he's been getting hit hard, and I do think the Twins get to him again. But it is always tough to back the Twins' bullpen. We saw, even though McKenzie gave up those 6 earned runs, the Guardians winded up winning that game after they scored 4 runs to take the lead in the top of the 9th inning of lone save by Emilio Pagan and company. And although it's not easy to take the Twins' bullpen, I still think their offense does enough here, especially at the value you're getting at plus money on the road. I'm going to take the Minnesota Twins here on the money line, but it may not be a fun game to watch. It may be a scary one to watch overall. Next matchup, we see an AL East rivalry between the Boston Red Sox and the Toronto Blue Jays. Kevin Gausman's listed for the Blue Jays as the starter, but we don't see an official starter listed for Boston. Now, Kevin Gausman, I've mentioned his last 5 starts, he just hasn't looked the same, getting hit pretty hard. And you look at the last 5, the Blue Jays have lost 4 of those 5 games that Gausman started in, includes a loss to the Orioles and the Tigers in that stretch. So he's just not pitching very well lately, giving up at least 6 base hits in each of those 5 starts. And although the home run ball hasn't hurt him yet, I do think it could be an issue going forward, as the average exit velocity and the hard hit percentage of his pitches are going up and up with each start. I do think this is a tough spot for him going up against the Red Sox, who have been very good against right-handed pitching in the last month, going in the top 10 in team OPS in the last month. So I am leaning towards the over here. We don't know who the Red Sox are going to go with on the mound. Overall, Boston's bullpen has been pretty inconsistent, more towards the negative side this season. So the Toronto Blue Jays lineup has been very strong in the last 30 days themselves. I could see them scoring plenty of runs here. I think it's going to be a back and forth game. I wouldn't want to take a side, so I'm going to take the over in the Red Sox Blue Jays. Next up, we see the Miami Marlins taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. This should be a pretty fun series. We've got Pablo Lopez and Adam Wainwright as your starters for Game 1. And I do think there's some value here with the dog in Miami. There's no doubt in my mind that Pablo Lopez is the far better starter in this particular matchup. Lopez 5-3 with a 2.61 ERA, 83 strikeouts in 82 2/3 innings. Now, he did struggle for a little bit of a stretch in the beginning to middle of June, but it was really comforting and promising to see his 7-inning shutout performance against the Rockies in his most recent start back at home in a 7-4 Marlins win. And Adam Wainwright's a guy that I'm looking for a regression here going forward. 3.32 ERA, but that's gone up over his last 3 starts where he's given up at least 3 earned runs. Gave up 4 earned runs and 2 homers to the Milwaukee Brewers last time out in only 4 2/3 innings. He's given up at least 7 base hits in each of his last 4 starts as well. And I've mentioned, you wouldn't believe it, but the Miami Marlins are up there, right up there in the top 10, top 5 even throughout the season in team OPS against right-handed pitching this year. They haven't been the best with runners in scoring position, so that's why they're a couple games under 500. But I still think they're going to be able to have ample opportunities to score in this spot against Wainwright, a guy that puts a lot of runners on base. So I'm going to take a shot here with the dog at the plus money price. Give me the Miami Marlins on the money line. Next up, we see the Texas Rangers taking on the Kansas City Royals. Martin Perez and Chris Bubic are your starters for this one. Now, in my opinion, this could be the game that trips up a lot of people on Monday. It's kind of a sneaky game. The Rangers are only minus 130 favorites, even though they have the much better record overall and the much better starting pitcher on paper in Martin Perez versus Bubic. You look at Perez, 5-2 with a 1.96 ERA. He's probably going to be an all-star for the Rangers this season. While on the other side, Chris Bubic, 1-4 with a 7.41 ERA. You have to say, why are the Royals getting some love here from the odds makers? They are 26-45 this year, 10 games under at home. Well, I think the reason is they are hitting left-handed pitching as of late. You look against lefties and team OPS in the last 30 days, the Royals are top 10. When you look in isolated power, the Royals are ranked number 8 in isolated power against lefties. But here's the reason why I'm leaning towards the over in this game. You look on the other side, the Rangers have also hit lefties pretty well. So I could see this game being high scoring early on. The Rangers are number 3 in the league in isolated power against lefties in the last 30 days, and team OPS they're number 7. So I think both starting pitchers could be having early exits in this game, and maybe down to the bullpens. In that case, I would lean towards the underdog getting the plus money, as I do think the Royals have the better bullpen. I honestly think the Rangers have one of the worst bullpens in baseball, despite what their ERA may show. Going forward, I think there's a lot of regression to worry about in that Rangers bullpen. I'm going to take a shot with the over here, and I like Kansas City on the money line as well. Next up, we see the LA Dodgers taking on the Colorado Rockies. Now we're going to see Chad Cole and Tyler Anderson as your starters in this matchup. Now, Tyler Anderson's a left-handed starter, and in his last few starts, he's faced some teams in the Reds and the White Sox that have hit left-handed pitching very well overall this year, or at least in the last 30 days, and he has struggled in those starts. We saw him give up 4 total runs against the Reds. He gave up 4 earned runs against the White Sox. He gave up a home run in that start to the Reds, and only had 4 strikeouts combined in those 8 innings of work. So against the Colorado Rockies, a lineup that's known for hitting left-handed pitching, especially at Coors Field, I do worry about Anderson in this start. The Dodgers also have a few injuries in their bullpen that I would be concerned about in this game and in this series. While on the other side, Chad Cole's a guy that I also think is going to struggle quite a bit in this one. 3.95 ERA, I think will go up quite a bit as the season continues, as he has a 1.43 whip. He puts a ton of guys on base. He's had issues with the walk as of late, which is not usually like him. He's given up at least 2 walks in each of his last 4 starts, giving up a lot of base hits as well, and even 2 home runs allowed in his last 3 outings. He's known to be a guy that keeps the ball on the ground, so that is very concerning. The Rockies have lost all 4 of his last 4 starts, and the Dodgers are one of the best lineups, if not the best lineup, against right-handed pitching this season. To me, this game screams over when you throw into the fact that the Rockies have the worst bullpen in baseball, in my opinion. I'm going to take the over in the Dodgers-Rockies. Next up, we see the Chicago White Sox taking on the Los Angeles Angels. This was a pretty fun series to watch back when they played in Chicago and Guaranteed Rate Field. But now, unfortunately, both teams are well under 500 right now. The White Sox were able to earn a win over the Orioles on Sunday, but didn't cover the run line. Angels have really struggled in the last month, even over a month now. After they fired Joe Madden, still didn't get any better for LA. This is a tough game. It's going to be a tough series, in my opinion. I'm going to lean ever so slightly to the Los Angeles Angels here, just because I think Syndergaard is a little bit more trustworthy than Giolito, because Giolito is dependent on the strikeout, which he hasn't been getting recently, while Syndergaard is more reliant on the ground ball, which I would think is a little bit more sustainable for him. Giolito's given up at least 2 home runs in 4 of his last 5 starts. He's coming off a start against the Blue Jays where he gave up 7 earned runs, 11 base hits, and in his last 10 innings combined, he's given up 18 base hits, 15 earned runs, and 4 home runs. With those numbers, I just cannot back you. When you add to the fact that the White Sox have not hit right-handed pitching very well this season, Syndergaard's a ground ball pitcher. I think he'll have some success here, and we don't have to lay too crazy of a price with the home team here. So I'm going to take the Los Angeles Angels on the money line. In our final game of the night, we see the Baltimore Orioles taking on the Seattle Mariners. Tyler Wells and George Kirby are your starters for our final game. Tyler Wells is a guy that I do think has a bright future in the major leagues, but I would like to see him earn some more strikeouts. Only 40 Ks in 64 2/3 innings. The walks will also be a little bit of an issue as of late, but the good thing about his game, he doesn't give up a lot of hard contact. He can get some ground balls, double plays as well. And in his last 5 starts, the Orioles have won all 5 of those starts. That includes a game against the Red Sox on the road, the Blue Jays on the road, against the Guardians as well. So a couple winning teams in that stretch. I like him here, getting plus money against Seattle. George Kirby's another guy that I think has a bright future, but another guy that I also worry about this particular season. He does have some strikeouts, 47 Ks in 49 innings, but he does get hit hard at times. We see him get up at least 1 home run in 3 of his last 4 starts. So even though he pitched really well against the Oakland A's last time out, he's not facing the Oakland A's here. I'm going to take the Baltimore Orioles, one of the more profitable teams in baseball this season, getting plus money to round out the night. And that's it. Those are the games for Monday, June 27th. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my MLB best bets, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.